Welcome guys, 5-minute review or less. These are horrible for me to do because I tend to talk and ramble for way too long, so let's give it a shot. Transistor, for one, unlike this intro, is a game of very few words. In fact, so few words that the main protagonist, the character you play as, is a former opera singer that has lost her voice and now cannot speak. And to add insult to injury, her husband is trapped in a weapon called Transistor.
There. Together again.
And he is the main narrative voice in the game. And this is something that the developer Supergiant Games actually also did in the previous game, Bastion. And Transistor, in my opinion, really solidified Supergiant Games as a gaming studio. So a little bit background about the game itself. Transistor, what is it like? It is amazing. It is stunning. The sprite isometric art is just wonderful. And the entire game takes place in Cloud City, like a dystopian/utopian city where people can vote on anything. People can vote to change the weather, to rename street names and whatever. And it's supposed to be this very liberal and open place. But there's been a murder, and then the city seems to be almost devoid of life. And there's these things called the process, like almost AI things, that are slowly taking over the world, or at least the city, and rebuilding it. And it's a very interesting plot. It's a very good plot. It has a surprising, interesting way of how it teaches or pushes the story forward. So you can store other people's souls inside your sword, and those are actually the things that give you the abilities. And it's really interesting because the way they did it with the gameplay is you find the souls of dead people that were former important people in a city, and you put them in your sword inside the transistor. And in order to unlock new powers, you also have to interchange and connect different powers with each other, which at the same time discovers more lore behind those very people or behind the city. So it's one of those type of games where if you don't really pay attention to the story, you might get very confused, but if you read the little subtext, this is a wonderful, wonderful game. Also, the protagonist is an opera singer. The music is amazing. I just can't say it anyway. The music it's super memorable. It's good. It has actually a lot of good songs you can just listen to like that. Very good music. Just top of the line. When I went back and played through this, that I really have to mention is combat and enemy variety is just amazing. So there's two ways you can play the combat. It is both turn-based and real-time. And you can flip in between them, separately. And there's many different enemy types, and they as well do have different challenges, offer different challenges in both real-time and RTS. So for example, there's these snapshot people that, if you play real-time, they're like clutter up half the screen, you can't see shit, so it makes it really hard to target people. And just a lot of fun, different types of enemy encounters, and yeah, good game.
Come on then, tough guard.
Cloud City as a place is also very vibrant and yet almost disturbingly empty, and you visit many different types of districts within the city, and visually they look very different, and there are some gameplay elements that are very different. But it's fairly concise. There's a lot of combat in the game, and the game can actually be quite hard and unforgiving if you ramp the difficulty up. The first time around, this is one of those games where I only got the real story the second time over. Because the first time I just played it left for the action, and I didn't really bother to read most of this stuff or really even try to understand what was happening. But it is one of the better devices of storytelling I've seen in a game with this low budget. It's actually very good.